Thanks for staying with us. So, going on to the next segment of our show. So, Nigeria's insecurity persists despite efforts to combat it. Bad governance and politicians' misbehavior are significant contributors. To rethink national security, we must examine various factors like family, community, cohesion, education, culture, and ethics. The media, arts, and economic policy are also part of the impact. Government and the security services are key players. By understanding these roles, we can develop effective strategies to address insecurity. Joining us again on the matter of insecurity is our friend and friend of the house, Dr. Charles Omole, who is an security expert and a lawyer, and he'll be sharing his thoughts on the issue of security. Welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Dr. Omole, during the paper review, Damilola had read a quote from our president. Let me quote him. He said that, "To the officers and soldiers of the Nigerian army, I say this with absolute clarity. The time to rise is now. You have my full support and authorization and the trust of the Nigerian people to confront and defeat those who seek to undermine our nation. You have my confidence, my support, and my prayers." Now, this is not the first time we're hearing a similar rhetoric from any of the presidents. I mean, we've had previous presidents since Jonathan's time telling us almost the same thing, assuring our soldiers that they have the support. But today, we still have the same security issues. In your view, do you think the security architecture we have today will be helpful to combat the terrorism and kidnapping that we experience in our country so far, given the assurance of Mr. President, especially from today's papers?
Well, thank you. That quote from the president that you've just read, for me, exemplifies the problem we have with insecurity in Nigeria. If we are to rethink security, we need to understand that you cannot solve a problem with the same mindset, working at the level of the same mindset that created it. It's important for us to understand, and I think the best way for me to illustrate this for you and for Nigerians to understand where I'm coming from this morning on this is this. Imagine you have a school. The school has graduates 1,000 students every year. Out of the 1,000 students, 990 within 2 months become criminals. So the government now comes and start fighting those criminals. Kill some, incarcerate some. And as the government is making a bit of progress, the school graduates a fresh 1,000. And then that's 990 criminals again joining the pool. And the government starts that same war of attrition all over again. And just as the government is having some breather, another 1,000 is graduated. People were looking at that situation, we say, hold on a second. I think we should look at the school. Rather than constantly combating the graduates who are becoming criminals, let's look at the school. What syllabus are they teaching? What are they teaching these students? What's the pedagogy? How are they teaching? What's the doctrine and ethos of the school? Because rather than dealing with the graduates who are now criminals, we should be dealing with what is actually causing them to be criminals. My challenge with our security in Nigeria, right from all the successive government, is that we are only focused on dealing with the graduates. And then government unwittingly, through its policies, is pushing more people into the criminal pool. So as we are killing 10, 20 are joining. So it's like a Groundhog Day, and we keep going around in circles. It's time we make security the job of every ministry, departments, and agency in Nigeria. That's not currently the case. In any country all over the world, there are two major drivers of insecurity. Number one, the people that enter the country. Number two, the goods and the products that enter the country, which of course includes arms. Now,
Dr. Omole,
in Nigeria, that is the Immigration Service and the Nigerian Customs.
Dr. Omole.
Now, the Immigration Service currently cannot secure our borders because they don't have the manpower and the funding for it. And our Customs Service is under the Ministry of Finance. A major security outfit in Nigeria that's supposed to be guarding what enters this country is under Ministry of Finance. And their target is purely financial. So clearly, we need to rethink this whole security thing.
Right.
Okay. You know, so rather than government looking at, okay, how do we fight in the bushes? How do we deal with what I call the causalities? What are the causes of things that, of driving people into these things in the first place?
Okay.
So right now, I don't feel the government is doing enough in the area of causalities. They are merely doing reactive activities in terms of chasing the criminals.
Okay, Dr. Omole, my concern, I hear your school analogy, but my concern basically is before chunking out these children or these pupils to schools, they came from a certain family. So I would like to ask you, what exactly is the role of families in security, in nation building? What does family have to do with national security?
Well, I mean, that is a fundamental, what I call that is actually the major ingredient of our insecurity, the breaking down of family values. You know, I was on a program, I think, a few months back in Lagos, and somebody was telling me that there's a WhatsApp group called Association of Yahoo Mothers. And they meet to pray for the success of their children. That shows you how bad things have become. So, in terms of the erosion of family values, that is a fundamental cause of the problem, you know, in Nigeria. So how do we deal with that? Now, that means government need to pay more attention. And when I mean government now, please, I'm not just talking of federal government. Because when you're talking of families, local and state government have a lot of roles to play, you know, in that. You know, so which means government need to understand that how children are brought up in the first few years of their life will affect their trajectory, which means state government needs to place more emphasis on primary education. That is purely a state matter.
Okay.
You know, on the quality of primary education these children get. Because by the time some of them are leaving primary school, the damage is already done. You know, they're on the expressway to becoming the Boko Haram of tomorrow.
Okay.
I want to put a follow-up question. I hear you now, but what is the role of our Child Rights Act? Because as we speak, there are a lot of states that don't even uphold the Child Rights Act. It doesn't even feel like these are our children that are growing into becoming whatever in the society. It's not like they have a right or their rights are being protected. So what is the government doing to protect the children, first off, before graduating into families to say if families don't take care of their children, they become something else?
No, that's a very valid question. There are states that still have not domesticated the Child Rights Act. That is true. But the point is, even the states that have domesticated it, you know, a lot of them pay lip service to it. They, you know, a fundamental problem with just our culture in terms of governance and the government in Nigeria is that we are largely reactive. So a child is being abused, it's reported to the police, and then the state that have domesticated a Child Rights Act use it to prosecute the offender. That is a reactive response. The question is, how many states are actually proactively going out to seek out infringements?
Okay.
You know, it's like everything else in Nigeria. And a very good example, we have the Disability Rights Act in Nigeria. And that means every new building, especially government building, needs to have certain adaptations that make it disability friendly.
Okay.
Who is proactively policing that? Nobody.
Let me get a few more questions for you.
So that's my point. So having the law is not the issue, it's the culture.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Sir, statistics that they have been reading now since the coalition is that insecurity has gone.
National security.
I'm coming on. The question is on security. That insecurity has gone up higher under President Bola Tinubu. And they're quoting, certain data bodies. How true is it? What is this insecurity like now? Is it worse? And is it better than it was before under the former president?
Well, I mean, if a child that failed by scoring 38, and the next child, scored 37, they're still both failures. I mean, the point is, I would say it's marginally better. Let's be honest. but that's no comfort to the Nigerians dying daily, about this. One of the fundamental issues about our politicians is there is this opacity around anything security. And a lot of them do not understand the difference between what I call tactical security discussion and strategic security discussion. Tactical security discussion is maybe we are deploying 500 soldiers to Maiduguri to do X, Y, Z. Those are tactical discussions that cannot be held in public, and I understand that. But strategic discussion can be had. If you remember during this last war between Israel and Iran, everybody in the media knew the only country that had the bunker busting bomb that can deal with actually one of the key nuclear sites was United States. And United States admitted we are the only one that have it. That is a security discussion on a strategic level. But when they were going to strike that site, nobody knew about it. That's tactical discussion that was held private. So, but in Nigeria, anything security, they don't want to talk about it. And even in the Obi interview that I saw clips of a few days ago, when he was asked about security, all I was hearing was things like, from day one, I will let the soldiers know that I'm with them, not physically, but I'm with them, and I will do whatever it takes to secure the country. I'm sorry, if any politician tells you that, send them out. Yes. We need specific strategic discourse. For example,
Dr. Omole, I have to go on a short break, please.
I'm advocating that the president should set up an office called the Office of National Risk and Security Assessment. It should be directly under the presidency. And what that means is every government policy and every major project of government must be subject to security impact assessment. That will make the issue of security all of government duty rather than just a few ministries and a few departments.
Okay, let me go on a short break. I'd like us to take that, to break that down, unpack that properly. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We still have Dr. Charles Omole. Dr. Charles, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Before the break, you're talking to us about an advisory committee or a committee set up by the President on security. Please help us understand further what the role of this committee would do.
Okay, it's not actually a committee, it's a unit that will be directly under the President. That I'm calling, for argument's sake, Office of National Risk and Security Impact Assessment or Security Assessment. Now, let me give you a picture. Every decision of government have security implications. That is what Nigerian governments in the past have not really addressed. Let me look at it. We can look at it from a project level. We can look at it from, say, a policy level. Let's take a project level. You want to build 100,000. Let me take something that is real. The coastal highway that's been built by the government. It has security implications. Has the security impact assessment been done to mitigate and cost into the project, cost of mitigating the security impact? Or do we wait for those security impacts that are foreseeable to manifest and then we start running helter-skelter like we always do? The point you ask yourself is this: if you are in mainland, inside Lagos, getting police to answer you or to respond to your emergency call can take time. Imagine being in the middle of a coastal road where, on both sides for 10 miles, there is no single house. Nobody lives there. It's a coastal road. How do you address security happenings and occurrence in that situation? That needs to be included right from the beginning of the project. So that's an example project. Policy-wise, let's say, for example, the government say, okay, we want to triple the import duty on used cars, Tokumbo cars. It's a simple fiscal policy, but it has major security impact. Because if security impact assessment of that policy is done, that could, for example, for the sake of analysis, say that means there'll be fewer cars imported into Nigeria. That means cost of used cars will go up in Nigeria. That means car-related crimes will go up by 50%, just as an example. So you now tell the government, if you have to go ahead with that policy, these are the steps you need to take in advance to mitigate its security impact. All I'm saying is this: a lot of government policies and projects throw up security It's just the same way we have the environmental impact assessment. Same way I'm saying security impact assessment. You know, they throw up all kinds of security issues that are foreseeable, but our government only.
All right, let me get an extra one question for you
security
before we.
implications.
Before you, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Dr. Omole, I don't know if it's a question really, or just let you know how tired I am when it comes to conversations concerning national security. And maybe, okay, I can start with this, which is what policy or decision has been taken that has caused the unending security challenges we're having in Plateau State, in Benue State? People traveling across the north and they are brought out of their cars and hacked to death. Insurgents, known and unknown, go into villages, ransack villages, kill mothers and children, and we move on. I hear when security personnel and experts come and have a conversation, it sounds all well and good, you know, on TV and on paper, but in reality, it's like I cannot pinpoint what is causing the issues, the unending security issues we have in these areas. It's so sad that every time I pick up a newspaper, I'm reading about another family going, or I have a relative who is screaming and crying because she's just lost her whole family, you know, so so as I said, it's not really a question, but maybe I can get some clarity from you, being an expert.
Dr. Omole.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. The former Inspector General of Police said that there are over 80 armed non-state groups existing in Nigeria. The truth is, insecurity in all those states and every other state, you know, in Nigeria, the major people behind this insecurity are politicians. Let's call it what it is. Okay. They are politicians. And that is why one of the key things I expect the president to do, or any president to do, is to make sure when it comes to security portfolio, no politician is appointed to any of those portfolios. Because I'm 100% certain those politicians you appoint, whoever they are, will have had, you know, hands in our insecurity. They back all kinds of gangs, they back all kinds of armed groups, all kinds of militia groups. These politicians behind them. And they use it for political purposes. You know, so take the issue of what you call Fulani, people say Fulani headsmen. The truth is that if you look deep into that, you'll find that if you have guns for hire and they tell you the most effective gang that can get your job done is this Fulani group, you will hire them. The fact that they are attacking you because they are Fulani is not because they are Fulani, it's because they've been hired to do their job. So the point here is the government needs a wake-up call. Our politicians, all of them, you know, even at a small level, even a member of House of Rep, go and ask him, have you not sponsored Omole, all these gangs in your constituency?
Unfortunately, Dr. Omole, I have to stop you at this point. We've run out of time. I'm really sorry. It's always a pleasure having you, and I just hope indeed that the unit you've recommended is indeed established. Hopefully, we don't know if it's going to work, but I have my own reservations on that. But thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.